Hari Sharanam children. Today I wish to narrate to you a very ancient and very interesting story of the goddess of death. You know about the Mahabharata war, the First World War, in which an estimated 4 million people participated. While the war was going on between two sides, Pandavas and Kauravas, Pandavas represented the forces of righteousness. They were good people, noble people. And the Kauravas represented the forces of evil. And God incarnate, Bhagavan Krishna, was on the side of the Pandavas because they were on the side of righteousness. During the war, it so happened that the Kauravas came up with a strange battle formation called Chakravyuh. At that moment, in the Pandavas' army, only one person knew how to break that battle formation, Chakravyuh. That was Abhimanyu, who was a teenager, the son of the great warrior Arjuna. But he knew how to break the battle formation. So he undertook to break it and entered the formation. He was so gallant, so brave, and so skilled a warrior that he not only broke the battle formation but wreaked havoc on the army of the Kauravas. No one was able to face this teenager. At that moment, the Kauravas decided to break the rules of the war and to attack this one person collectively. So many of the great warriors assembled and attacked and killed this practically a child. Now, Abhimanyu's death caused a lot of grief in the heart of the leader of the Pandavas' army, Yudhishthir, who was going to be the king after if the Kauravas were vanquished. He was a very noble person known as Dharmaraj. He was a very righteous person. So he felt very, very sad and he wept a lot, cried a lot. To mitigate his pain, he went to Bhagavan Vedavyas. You know who was Vedavyas? He was a father figure for both the Kauravas and Pandavas. And he was a great rishi on whom God had bestowed a divine vision with the help of which he could see anything happening at a distance and at a distance in time back or forward. I called him Bhagavan Vedavyas. That might confuse people because Bhagavan is God. But in Hinduism, Bhagavan is used differently. Truly, it is really a word for God, but this word is often used for people who have a lot of radiance, a lot of noble traits. So they are compared with God and they are called Bhagavan with great reverence and great respect. So Vedavyas was a sage, a rishi, but he was also sometimes called Bhagavan Vedavyas. So Vedavyas, he went to Yudhishthir and told about his suffering, his sadness, and the very, very unfortunate event of the death of Abhimanyu. Vedavyas told him not to lament for the death of Abhimanyu because that was the normal course of life. It happens. But Yudhishthir was not impressed with his consolation and he could not shed his grief. Then Vedavyas came up with a story. He told Yudhishthir that he would like to narrate a story, an interesting story about the goddess of death. What was the story? Truly interesting. You know, God has created a divinity called Brahma. Brahma is not God, he is a deity, but he was entrusted with the job of creating the universe and the living beings. So he created. Now, after some time, he realized that nobody was dying. So, if this continued, the earth would not remain a livable place with so much of resources being consumed which were not enough for sustaining life in such a great number. So Brahma became very angry with himself. He became so angry that the heat generated by Brahma made the rivers dry up, made the forests catch fire, and it made all the creatures restless. Now when another divinity, Shiva, Rudra, he realized that something wrong was happening. So he went to Brahma and cajoled him not to be too angry. And he also wanted to know the reasons why he was so angry. Brahma explained to him that he is angry with himself. He has created a universe in which the living beings are not dying. Rudra told him, "Calm down, sir, calm down. You are the creator. You can always create a new being who can give them death. So you create the goddess of death." This appealed to Brahma. So he just made a wish. Let there be a goddess of death. And there was a goddess of death standing in front of him. She asked, "Sir, Lord, what's my duty? Why did you create me?" He said, "You are the goddess of death. You will bestow death upon all creatures." She said, "Sir, I can't do that. That's a great sin to kill any creature. I can't kill creatures. No, please absolve me of this duty." Brahma said, "No, you have to do that. You have been created for doing this." How could she argue with Brahma, the creator of the universe? So she went to a forest and stood on one foot, did tapasya. Now, tapasya is a Hindi word, Sanskrit word, of which there is no equivalent in English. Penance is not tapasya, it's something different. Tapasya means voluntarily undergoing severe hardship for some holy cause, some noble cause. So she stood on one foot for years and years together and kept praying and praying and praying in forests, on the mountains, praying to Brahma. Then Brahma appeared before her. He asked, "Why are you putting yourself to such hardship? And what do you want? Tell me, I'll give you that." She said, "Lord, you have asked me to kill people, to bestow death upon them. I don't want to do that. Please absolve me of this responsibility." Brahma said, "You are getting scared unnecessarily, goddess. You will incur no sin. And let me tell you, you won't go and kill them with a sword. You don't murder them. They will die in the natural course because of the poor lifestyle they adopt, eating too much or eating wrong things or drinking something undesirable, and also because of the sins they commit. So what you have to do basically is not to kill them with a sword, but to capture their last breath, the prana, when they are in any case going to die. So I will make this arrangement. So don't worry about committing a sin and go ahead with your work." Then she agreed to do that, reluctantly. Now, children, here is a faith, Hinduism, Sanatan Dharma, in which not only people were afraid of killing any creature, but also the gods and goddesses. Look at the goddess of death. She is an embodiment of death, but she is scared, damn scared of killing people, bestowing death upon them. And this is a principle which must be understood. Value every life of every creature. Don't kill any creature unnecessarily. Respect life everywhere. Now, let me tell you, many people will be found by you who will say that this is all mythology. What is the meaning of mythology? Mythology, they mean that it is all concocted stories which never happened in reality. Now, for a minute, listen to me carefully. History is the story of human beings, how kings, how the populace behaved, did what they did, why they did, etc. So that's considered to be real. Yes, more or less real. But there is a parallel world that exists, parallel to the physical world. The physical world is visible, and that parallel world is invisible with these physical eyes. But that parallel world, a subtle world, not a gross world, there gods and goddesses are there. Even demons are there of that kind, who are not visible. But this world, that world I mean, is also a part of the phenomenal world, where phenomena take place, events take place, occurrences take place. But who can see them? Not everybody. The events in that parallel world are seen by the sages, the rishis, who through sadhana have acquired the divine vision to perceive things which are not perceived by others. Vedavyas was a person who had a divine vision. This divine vision enabled him to see things at a distance in space, which nobody else can see. If you want to personally verify whether what the sages, the rishis wrote about that parallel world of divinity, then you should yourself become a rishi, a sage, and acquire that divine insight which can enable you to perceive the occurrences in that divine realm. Then you may not call all this mythology in the sense in which some of the people call it. You will see it as the history of that phenomenal world in the divine realm.